Well, hey there, everybody. So today we're going to work on how to lay out these drawings properly. So, we're going to have an exploded drawing and then a detailed drawing with all the details. So first things first, we need to make some view representations. And what those are is pretty straightforward. So if you expand the representations folder and then you right click and hit new, you get this new view label. And what I'm going to do is make sure it's enabled. So you should have that check mark by it. And then I'm going to click an item, right click, and hit isolate so it's the only part visible. And then I'm going to hit a right click over here and lock that view. And then go ahead and change the name to match the part that we selected. And what that does is it allows you to quickly view just that part. So I can double click master and I see the whole assembly again, or I can double click jaw to activate this view and you can see it. And what these are used for is to properly call out your BOM items correctly. So you pretty much need to do this for every single part. And since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts, I'm going to go ahead and just keep hitting right click new to get my other parts listed here. And then I'm going to go ahead and name these as I go. And then I can go in and turn on whichever view rep I'm on. So in this case, jaw 2. And I'll do the same thing and do right click isolate. And I'll lock this one. And then I'll go ahead and jump to screw. And I'm going to right click isolate. Lock it again. And you're just going to keep going through and, making sure that each view is on. And then isolate the item so that's the only thing showing, lock your view. Now you could also, instead of going and isolating, you could technically select everything else and hit visibility and turn it off. But obviously that's a little more work. So when you're done, go back to master and go ahead and save it. That way you have those view reps for later. Now here is where the fun is. So we'll do the detail drawing first. But basically you're going to have, your traditional isometric view and any dimensions you may want you could have in some orthographic views. So in this case, like for this one, the machinist clamp, I'll have these two views so I can say, for instance, is this far from this part, like between the jaws, or how far these screws are located in. Anything you would need to know in order to assemble these parts together. And then, we'll have a parts list. And then you'll just go through and, dimension everything and put item bubbles, bubbling every item, and they should match. And I want you to make sure that these item numbers are in line with what, the exercise shows. So for instance, jaw should be first, the other jaw should be second, and so on and so on. Make sure your items are in order with this. And, make sure everything's scaled properly, and then make sure that you have a view label on here for one of your views. It should be this one ideally, but you get the point. Basically go in here, double click, turn that little light bulb on, give it a view name, and that way I can tell which parts are what. And then, after that, once you've got your bubbles, your dimensions, everything you need here in your parts list, just right click and hit new sheet, and this will put it on sheet 2. And then I want you to place those view reps that we talked about. So if you see you got representation view, you're going to hit that drop down and choose the first item from that list, which is jaw 1. Make sure you check this associative box, and then you're going to place your views. Make sure you've got your view label on again, and fill it out. So in this case, it would be jaw 1. And you may have to scale some of these. I'd probably actually scale all of these up. So far, I'd probably make them 2 to 1. But make sure you've got your bubble on it. And again, dimension, have center lines, center marks, everything like you normally would. You'll just go through and keep doing that. So you'll have a sheet for each part. The next one would be jaw 2. And, we'd have our view label on. We'd have our ISO view, bubbles, dimensions, center lines, center marks. Just rinse and repeat. Same deal. So then I believe the next one is screw. Always get that checkbox. Yeah, you'll just keep going through and doing that for every single sheet. And then once you have all of your details and everything, you know, you'll pack and go this drawing with your model attached and all that, and also in a PDF of your drawing as well. So that would be just for the detail drawing. So then for your exploded view, you're going to need to do a presentation. It's an IPN, and then you're going to choose your assembly, which in this case is the machinist clamp. Okay, so this area is not familiar to you really, but all you're going to do is use this tweak components command. So you'll click it and then choose an item. So for me, I think I will do this guy. So now that I have that, you may see these little, I guess, manipulators here. You're just going to pull that item, and now it's going to, you know, offset it from it without messing up your actual model. And then you can pull again to get out of the way. And what this is doing is it's actually setting an animation for it to move, but it's great for exploded views. So if you see here when I hit play, it actually animates it going through. It's pretty neat. So I'm going to pause that and just move the slider back to 0. So you'll go through and tweak all of your components, have them exploded out. So then I'm going to right click OK. And you know what? I don't really like where that's at. So let's see. Edit tweak. You can right click and hit edit tweak if you want to move it out further. And I'm just going to pull it a little bit further out. Right click OK. And that's all you need to do really. It's just, you know, these jaws are probably fine where they're at, but you're just going to tweak component, pull it out a given distance. You can make these more even numbers if you want. Right click OK. Tweak component. And there we go. So now, you know, say I were to hit play, this is probably not smooth because as you see I didn't put a delay in here, but that doesn't matter for what you're doing. The only thing you want is this end piece right here because that's what's going to be in your exploded view. So now we've got that, I'm going to go ahead and save it. So you'll have another item in here, and we'll just call this machinist clamp exploded. So then we can go ahead and open up a drawing and do a base view. Okay, so now if you don't have your exploded one selected here, in case you guys did not know, you can hit this navigate button to find it. So, you know, say you didn't have it open and you didn't see the option, all you need to do is hit that folder button, grab this, select it, and you'll get to this point right here. So we need to hit the checkbox here, just like before, and then you're going to place your exploded view, probably scale it up, you know, something bigger, 2:1 seems good. And then on this one, it's a lot easier than the other drawing. You're just going to do a parts list, just like before. Make sure it's sorted and all that, and all your rows are filled out, and then just bubble everything. So this one's not too big of a deal, you know. That's it. Like as soon as you get all your bubbles in, and you fill out your title block and get your parts list filled out, you're good to go on this one. Now in a case like this, if you notice this kind of looks incomplete here, it would be nice if you double click your view and chose display options, tangent edges, made sure it was on, because then it'll show the rest of your detail there. But yeah, other than that, you would go ahead and save it, and same deal, you're going to want to turn it all in. If you can, pack and go both drawings together with your assembly. That would be a lot easier, but if you know you're having problems, you can pack and go both separately. You're just going to have duplicate files, of course. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, everybody.